First and foremost, we're going to be looking at the effects of the outflows from the Ethereum ETF. We're going to also look at what are some of the reasons why Bitcoin took a huge dip over the last 2 days and what the future has in store for Bitcoin and the crypto and DeFi markets. Before we begin, I wanted to take a look at TradingView and some charts. And I know this is a crypto channel, but we're going to take a look at the S&P index. The S&P index is currently setting at about 5,399. We are on the weekly chart, and if you look over the last 2 weeks, we have started to dip when our stochastic when our stochastic RSI orange line crossed our blue line. Right here, you can see that, well, the dip was already beginning. A lot of people are probably wondering, why am I even talking about the S&P 500? But the S&P 500 actually, at times, is, come on, correlated to Bitcoin. So the correlation between the stock market and Bitcoin, we're still a long ways away from Bitcoin separating itself from traditional finance and the stock market. Now, I do know at times that it does deviate from that correlation. But at this time, we're not seeing much of a deviation at all. In fact, Bitcoin is dipping with the S&P 500. Now, what I'm concerned about is that if the S&P continues this dip, which at this point in time, there's nothing to say that it won't, and we go below the bull market support band, that's going to be a major issue. I love to point out these two indicators over and over again because I think they're very useful, especially for longer term trading or long-term investing. By the way, I believe the bull market support band gives us the best information on the weekly chart. It's something to consider. Now, let's start looking at Bitcoin. That's kind of what we're here for. As you can see, right now, Bitcoin is sitting at approximately $65,991. Honestly, and I've said this again and again, the day-to-day movement of Bitcoin does not make a difference at all. What we really need to be concerned about is the trends over a few months, or on this chart, we're actually looking at just a couple of months, so we're looking at the trends over weeks. What I'm concerned about with this chart is getting back closer to the 21-week EMA. Now, if we drop below and hold any resistance below the 21-week EMA, at minimum, I would expect a drop down into the range of, say, 55, 56,000. Now, none of these numbers are exact, and I would not take any of this information I'm presenting as financial advice. But as Bitcoin continues on the bull run, and again, I'm going to stress that I still think we're in a bull run. I just think we're in a sideways time in the market. Don't let the day-to-day action of this volatile crypto market make you sell your bags away to the whales or to BlackRock. Now, when we're talking about mid and low cap altcoins, I can't help you there. Some of those are risky investments. Some of those are going to be much, much more volatile than Bitcoin. So yes, you can gain more, but you can also lose more. Now, what I want to look at next are these two trend lines that I put on my chart. They should make you feel a lot more comfortable, because even if we were to go below the bull market support band, as long as we're ranging between, say, 55,000 and 72, 73,000, we're A-okay. The longer we're range bound, when that move to the upside happens, it's like a spring that is going to recoil. The longer we stay within that range, the more explosive the move up is going to be. So, how can we use this information? Well, whenever these dips occur, that's when we dollar cost average into our crypto positions, into our liquidity pools, into meme coins, into whatever is your cup of tea. But what we have to consider next is how to position our portfolios. So now that we've taken a little bit of time to look at Bitcoin, what we think it may do in the near term, because I feel like most of us we would not be in this space if we weren't confident of Bitcoin's performance in the long term. But if that's the case, let's stop worrying about the near term so much. Now, the last thing I want to look at before we actually get into some of the news today is the ETH chart. So bringing up the Ethereum chart, and I'm going to bring up US dollar on Coinbase. You can see, just like Bitcoin, we are range bound. The range, though, is much wider, ETH being a more volatile asset. And I would like to point out that if you look at the RSI on ETH, July 24th, yesterday, we had an orange cross on the stochastic RSI. What are we doing? We're dipping here, here. 2 days. Until this blue line starts getting back closer to the orange line, I'm expecting the ETH to continue its downturn. Now, the big question is, how is the Bitcoin conference going to affect it this weekend? I don't know. As of right now, it has seemed a little underwhelming so far. I think everyone's kind of waiting to see what Donald Trump has to say. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't really want to get into a political discussion, but in the beginning, Bitcoin was kind of created to separate us from the government, separate us from the banking system, and give freedom back to the people as far as control of what we have as value. When your money is tied up in the banking system, which obviously some of mine is, you have to live, they are not on your side. The government's not on your side. So the more and more TradingView and the more government get involved, yes, I do believe it's going to pump our bags, but sometimes I'm worried at what cost. Now, let's take a look at the news and see, why are the markets dipping in the first place? In this first article from CoinDesk from earlier today, Bitcoin plunged all the way to 64K. And this was happening at the same time as the large cap tech rout was hitting the S&P 500. This is, Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, the biggies out there, NVIDIA. When looking at our markets, we have to understand the correlation between the two. So even though I know many people in the crypto space that don't want to take a look at the US stock market. But if you're not looking at general market sentiment and understanding the relationship between those markets, whether they're correlated or uncorrelated, you're not going to make as good decisions in this space. Now, at times, Bitcoin is not correlated with the stock market. But many times, and I honestly believe with TradFi getting more and more involved in the crypto space, you're going to start to see more of a correlation with the traditional markets. Now, why did this plunge happen besides the involvement with the tech route of the stock market? Now, the other reason could be the Ethereum ETF and some of the outflows. Now, before we go on to Ethereum and the outflows of the ETF, I want to take a moment just to discuss In the crypto market, it can be very dangerous to play with leverage. $250 million of long bets um, across the crypto markets were liquidated because there was a massive, well, let's not say massive, but a dip. But if you're playing with 50x, 100x, 20x leverage, the wicks, the down can happen so fast. Your position's liquidated before you have a chance to even respond. Even in a bull market, you can get liquidated when it's long. I would never take a long position unless I felt comfortable we're in the bottom. If I were to go back to the ETH chart, if ETH was getting down into this lower $3,000 range, or actually like it went all the way down, let's say $2,900, $2,800, I would feel much more comfortable leveraging a long position at that point. When we were at 3,500, you would have been liquidated over the last few days. Just something to consider when you're making your decisions. So, talking about the Ether ETF, the correlation with the stock market, we also have Mt. Gox distributions occurring right now. So, when we look at the market currently, the stock market is starting to dip, at least the large cap tech stocks. Ethereum ETF is having outflow after outflow after outflow, at least over the last couple days. And at the same time, the Mt. Gox distributions are occurring on Kraken, on Bitstamp, wherever else they're happening. And some of those people are going to sell. Some of those distributions were sold to other people who are going to want to cash that in. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone's going to sell, but there's going to be sell pressure on the market right now. So if people are scared about ETF outflows, the stock market's dropping, and some of the Mt. Gox distributions are being sold, you got a lot of sell pressure there. And where's the buy pressure coming from? If you have high conviction, it should be coming from you. If your conviction is lacking, you may want to avoid this space. Part of the reason I made this channel in the first place is as it grows, I'm hoping that it will provide some information that will allow especially newcomers into the space as the bull run continues, some better information to make better decisions so they can avoid the mistakes, a lot of the mistakes that I made during the last cycle. Take profits. Don't FOMO. In fact, I'm going to make a video about that pretty soon. All right. I want to move on to our next piece of news. Not this one, excuse me. But before the Bitcoin Conference, Trump has raised more than $4 million of Bitcoin and other cryptos. So his support in the crypto industry has been paying off. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is not to talk about Trump, but to talk about Bitcoin is getting more and more embedded into the American political scene. Even just a few years ago when I first got involved, 2020, I rarely heard politicians talking about Bitcoin. Now we're having articles like this on CNBC. This gives me hope that the market is going to continue rising once we establish support above the all-time high. Let's go back to the chart real quick. Hold on one second because I want to bring up the Bitcoin chart. Hold up. There we go. If we can hold support above the 73,000 level, 72,000 level, which that's when the top occurred. That was March 14th of this year. It's going to be off to the races. And that's not to say there's not going to be dips in the future, but that's when it's going to get crazy. That's when you need to already have your plan in place. Now, I want to move on to one of the final pieces today. this is going to concern celebrity meme coins. Now, I really started looking into this when whatever Iggy Exelia, whatever her name is, but coin came into fruition. When I want to say this in the nicest way possible, if you're sinking a lot of capital into a celebrity meme coin as a retail investor, just because of that celebrity and about what they said on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, excuse me, you're making a mistake. Now, if you already have 80% Bitcoin, 15% ETH, and you're playing with 5% of your portfolio or less, go ahead and be a gambling man. Not me. Although I do take some meme gambles occasionally. The last I did put some money in one celebrity meme coin, Canon Soul, during the tournament, and I forexed my money really quick. Pulled out my initial, took a teeny little bit of profit, let the less ride. It's basically worthless. I rotated the position back into Solana. So I want you to take a look at this article. Okay. Celebrity endorsed tokens on Solana specifically are crashing, and investors are reeling from terrible, terrible losses. These are the coins that were 50 Cent, Caitlyn Jenner, Andrew Tate, Iggy Azalea, Barron Trump even. He didn't even know that one was going on, by the way, if you actually looked into that situation. Okay? Only a handful of these even hold value anymore. Okay? These are liars, inside buyers. There are many things that occur in this market that really screw new retail. And we need to educate ourselves so this will get less and less and less, right? It frustrates me because I've been scammed. If you're in this space long enough, you will be scammed. And again, here in the near future, I'm going to start making some safety videos also with what we're doing. But at least if you're going to stay in this market, live by a few rules. Rule number one, don't FOMO into positions. Wait. This market, especially the crypto market, rewards patience. Two, as the bull continues, especially after Bitcoin reaches all-time highs, be sure to have a ladder out strategy. Take profit. I'm going to say that again. Take profit. Probably the most important thing you will ever learn. The third one, don't trust. Don't trust me. Don't trust anything you see on X. Don't trust any of the YouTubers on YouTube. I'm not saying that everyone's dishonest, but don't trust. Verify. There's a lot of problem players in this space that take advantage of people who don't know what they're doing yet. So educate yourself on safety. And then finally, I wanted to see, there's only a couple people really in the stream right now, but if anybody wants me to bring up some charts on some altcoins, or if not, I'm going to show you a couple of my liquidity positions now that I'm probably going to add some more into during this dip. Phil, just put it in the chat. I'll check it out. Yeah. Hold on just a second. I'm running all of this by myself. Oh yeah, so many scams. I months ago got in third round to the initial offering for, or it wasn't the initial offering, the third offering of Kata, which is a meme coin on the BNB network. It's not one I'm probably going to make a video about right now, but they have a meme coin launchpad that you can look into. And during the first round, the first launch on the Kata launchpad, there was so much noise during that launch. I accidentally put one of my $100 allotments and sent that to a scammer. It was a small amount of money, which is another piece of advice. I always start off small, like say, test transactions. Or if I'm not 100% sure, I'll just use a little bit of money. But as soon as I was like, oh, geez, that was not what I needed to do. Please, 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 at minimum, test transactions. If you can verify, even better. If there aren't any coins that anybody wants to look at, see Ali music. If you'd like, I will. If not, I'm going to show you some Orca and Radium liquidity pool positions that I'm having a lot of fun with right now. All right, I'm just going to connect my Phantom wallet, and we'll check out some within my portfolio. It's actually dipped a lot. This is probably one of my favorite blue chip pools right now of all time. It's paid very well. I've talked about it on my short feed. And that is my SOL USD position right here. Okay. Looking at my SOL USD position right now, especially with what's going on in the market today, it's earning a pretty high APR, 166%. Now, if you were to actually take the average, I think the average of this position is closer around like 75, 80. And if you watch the short, I kind of go over some of that on that. And two altcoins on Solana that I really have high conviction in, although one I have a little more higher conviction in than other. The Jupe token with their DEX aggregator and their governance token, I'm very bullish on that one. And I'm all in on Jupe, but I took a little piece of my Jupe, a little piece of my Pith, and put it in this liquidity pool that's earning like 300%. Now, some of that is in Radium token, and then whenever Radium pumps, I usually rotate that into Solana. Again, like I said, not a lot of people here. Nothing I'm saying is financial advice. These are just the things that I do. And again, I'm just a guy on the internet, a dad on the internet. Hold on, I got some chat. You know, Ali, you're making a smart decision because I get it. Not because you don't just have to deal with scams. You have coins that aren't even scams, and they just get caught in a bad situation, right? If you're going to play around with small caps, if you're going to play around with meme coins, you're in an environment where that's much more likely to occur, much more likely to happen. What I recommend, I don't make any recommendations. If it was me after I was scammed, my next line of action would probably be building up my stablecoin position. And then I would be using some of my stablecoins, not all, but some of them to earn some yield, probably in stablecoin liquidity pools. You can pull like, 15 to 35%. And then with the money I did have available, or if I had any cash available to invest, I would be investing most of that strictly into Bitcoin, maybe a little bit of ETH, possibly a little bit of Solana. But hey, there's nothing wrong with sticking to the stable coins. You know what? And I know you're the only one here, but I think in the chat anyway. But I want to personalize this a little bit and show you something you can do with stable coins. I have not made a video about this yet. Let me bring up some stuff. I'm going to show you one that's a little bit easier to use because it does everything for you pretty much. You do have to be a little versed in the use of a hot wallet, but it's on, it's called Beefy Finance. I love this site. Um, so if we are on Beefy Finance, let me just go to some of their vaults because I don't have any stable position. The closest thing I have to a stable position here right now is this Overnight Finance, and Overnight Finance is a smaller cap altcoin on the Base network that kind of provides a stablecoin money market account, so you can buy their USD plus coin, and they take your money or your stables and reinvest that into different kinds of stable coins, and then put those into different liquidity pools, lending protocols to earn yield, and then that yield's then redistributed to the holders of USD plus. So you hold it in your wallet, and then you gain the yield off the USD plus automatically. OVN is their governance token. I don't really participate in their governance, but it is a volatile asset. So when I see it pump, I sell some of the position, put that into stables, wash, rinse, repeat. But that's technically not a stablecoin position because of the OVN token in the pool. But I mean, this thing's earning like 700% APY and almost like 0.6% daily. I've seen it as high as 1.2 daily. I like this one, but it's a little risky. But if you go into their dashboard and their vaults, I can actually pull up some stable positions. Hold on a second. Stable coins. I want to take off some of these networks. Actually, there's way too many of them. Let's take that off, and we'll do Manta. We'll do Base. Where's Base? No, not that one. Where's Base? Hold on one second. Arbitrum, Optimism, Phantom, BNB Chain, Polygon, and where's Base? I'm missing that. Can't find Base in here. That's crazy. Oh, there it is. All right. And so we're going to just look with these protocols right here. Okay. Now, every one of these are stable pool coin positions, and I'm going to organize them by APY. Now, just because it has a high APY doesn't mean it's necessarily a safe position. I would definitely suggest like reading into the stable coins, maybe even like checking out their white papers and things like that, because some of them operate in different ways. Some of these stablecoin positions are tied to other currencies in the world, like the euro or something like that, and you have to take some of that into consideration in the pools. But I love these because you don't have to worry about impermanent loss. You can earn a small amount of yield. And then this, I put a lot of my stables into this just to park it until I'm ready to reinvest. Let's see if I can find a good one right now. See, USDT pool. Awesome. Okay, here's one on Uniswap. This will be perfect. Okay, so this is a USDC USDT pool on Uniswap. Okay, and this is a pool that I've used before. I'm going to go over just a couple things to look at if someone were to choose to do this. This is what I would do. Again, not financial advice. If you look at this pool, you'll see total value locked on Beefy is 639,600, about there, and then the pool on Uniswap is 1.36 million. That's a good amount of total value, because Beefy is a slightly smaller protocol that will yield optimize or aggregate liquidity pools. So you give them the coins, and then they manage the position for you with this protocol. And it just reinvests everything back into your position. And then they have a good tracking system to kind of look at the yield, look at the impermanent loss, look at your profit and loss, all that. Anyway, The next thing is you're going to want to look at APY. Now, do understand this is different than APR. APY can constantly fluctuate. I'll come back 5 minutes later. This number can be higher, lower, stay the same, whatever. And but you can use this chart and look at the APY over time and kind of see how it's changed. Like you can see that it had this humongous spike when a whole bunch of people went to stable coins, but that was temporary. And then it kind of went back down. But you can see the moving average of this pool. Oh, whoa, it's really high. So a few days ago, this pool was earning 30%, but because of this humongous spike, it's reading kind of, it's skewing the data. So you got to kind of take that into consideration. So this pool, even though it's newer, will probably end up averaging around 20 to 30%, give or take. But there'll be time periods where it's earning a whole lot of yield, and there'll be some other time periods where it like drops really low. What's interesting about Beefy, and I really like, is you have these CLM pool functions, right? And that is like their liquidity rewards that they give to users for going into this pool. Now, this one is on the, what network are we on for this one again? Base. So usually on Base Network, your CLM rewards are going to come in the form of Uniswap tokens, but sometimes it can vary into some weird tokens that I don't know. But if that's the case, I usually sell them and just buy stablecoin with them. Anyway, if you look at the very bottom, it's going to give you a safety score. It'll let you know like what your possible and permanent loss may be. Since these are stables and it's a lot of total value lock, you're not going to suffer barely any impermanent loss at all. This will talk about the market capitalization and the volatility of the assets, and then they verify the contracts, so that can give you a better. Now, obviously, a scam, I guess, could still get through, but I've never had any issues with it. And if they say it's verified, it's worked. Now, I have seen some on here that said these contracts have been audited by an outside company, so we're not going to verify, but we think it's safe. They have different levels, but you would have to look into that yourself. This right here gives you the contract information, the pool on Uniswap, the CLM, like the reward contract, and then also the strategy contract of what they're doing with your funds. And then they give kind of a synopsis of how it works. The reward APR of the CLM contract, the Uniswap, is going to be 5.76%, and that can fluctuate. And then you also will get Merkle rewards. So this one, you're going to get the total AP, you're going to get the trading fees, which is really low, right? So in the US, in this pool, you're getting like 0.09% APR, or excuse me, APR. But because of the rewards you're getting from Uniswap and the rewards you're getting from Beefy, it ends up totaling about 21%. And then you have to make a decision whether to keep the Uniswap or whatever tokens they're giving you, or sell them, do whatever you're going to do with them. Does that? I hope that kind of makes sense. I have a video on my channel on Beefy Finance, and I will post it in the chat. Or no, actually, I'll post it in the description of the video, because we're kind of rounding to the end now. Ali, it was awesome hanging out with you, and anyone else who caught the stream today. Please, 2 favors. If you're watching this video after it's uploaded, or Ali, and that is, I would love for you to like and subscribe. And anyone out there, if you're interested in purchasing TradingView, they have a $12-ish monthly tier fee. I like that one personally, but I'm kind of a cheapskate. And if you use our affiliate links, which you don't have to, obviously you can go to the page there, you can get yourself 10% off at TradingView, 10% off a Tangem hard wallet, which is my favorite because I believe it's the easiest hard wallet to use. I just hope they integrate in-wallet staking soon. That would be awesome. And then I also have one for crypto taxes with CoinLedger, which I love that company. But I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you stay on for a minute, I'm going to add that link into the bottom. But Take care. Like and subscribe. Dad's DeFi Space. Until next time, everyone. Peace. I'm still here, but I'm going to put that in the chat for you.